Hey family, it's Rooted in Faith and Rising in Freedom. Today I want to share a personal dream that changed how I face fear and how it relates to your healing journey. I don't know where you are in your journey right now, your healing journey, that is. Maybe you're in the thick of it or you're just coming through something heavy. Either way, I believe you will make it through. The truth is, if you keep facing the same struggles, the same heartaches, it's often because something within still needs healing. And deep down, you probably already know what that is. I'm not here to preach, but I know this. Peace becomes possible when we stop running and start addressing what needs healing. Whatever that is for you, because it matters. So today's about confronting your past, your obstacles, your struggles, embracing your growth, and finding freedom on the other side. So in my dream, I'm in the middle of this field. It's huge. You do a 360, there's nothing but fields. There's no trees. There's no fences. There's no boulders or rocks or hills to get to higher ground if need be. And in the middle of your field, just like a ways out, long ways out, there was this object out there. And it looked pretty big. I was like, I wanted to walk towards it. It was huge. And so I started focusing in on it. And I could see like the silhouette of it. It looked pretty huge. And as I looked closer and focused more on it, it looked like a bull. It was a huge bull with a huge ass horns. And I was thinking, and out in the middle, in nowhere, I come across this bull, and this is not the best time to come across something like that. I was like thinking to myself, I hope it does not look at me. I hope it doesn't see me. And as I was saying that, guess what? It looked right at me, and it started charging towards me. And at first, the most logical thing to do is, and that's the first instinct, is to run away, right? Well, I didn't run away. I turned right towards it and started running towards it. I was like, I didn't know what to think about that, because this is not the right reaction. But I kept running, and as I ran, I gained speed, and I was more determined to hit this thing. I don't know what I was trying to do. Matter of fact, I just knew I was running towards it, and I was like, this has got to be the most craziest thing. So it kept running, I kept running, and then as we got closer, this thing started slowing down. And as I kept running and it saw I wasn't going to stop, it stopped. It turned around and started running the other way. As it was running the other way, the bull started to get smaller and smaller, not because of the distance it was leaving me, because I was still running full speed ahead. It started getting smaller, but as it was getting smaller, it was turning into a dog. It looked like kind of like a shepherd collie, pretty little dog, but it was just like sneaky looking. And it was running away just as fast as I was running, with its tail between its legs. What I remember. And for a minute, that's all I remember. And then I woke up. That's all I remember. This was a long time ago. I didn't understand the meaning of this dream until later, until now. With the most recent experiences I've had, now I understand what that is. I think what God was trying to tell me was I wasn't confronting things of my past or things that, were rising up. Because I'd ask myself, why do I continue to experience the same things? Why do I find myself in the same situations? Why do I come across people that are the same, but they're different bodies? What God was trying to tell me was that the bull Let's break this down. The bull is the fear, the trauma, the obstacles, the problems of the past, the deep-seated, rooted, self-limiting belief systems that we grew up with, all that. That's what that bull is. The dog signifies when we actually face it and we identify what those are and we face those challenges that we've struggled with such a long time. That's what the dog signifies that once we face them head on, they shrink. They're no longer big. What we thought was huge is now just a small little speed bump. So this dream, running from pain, betrayal, spiritual attacks, well, the moment I started to face them, they just started to shrink. That's the purpose. That was the purpose of my dream. God was trying to tell me, quit running and face it. So that's what the whole situation is like. Finally, I asked myself, why do I continue to... This dream was supposed to wake me up to say, hey, why do I continue to have the same obstacles? Why am I always frustrated? Why can't I get to the next level? Why can't I, those are things that we need to ask ourselves. I had to take accountability for a lot of the situations in my life, the choices we make. Because truthfully, I invited some of them in, not consciously, but because I hadn't done the healing work. Sometimes we mean well, but we do certain things that cause us more problems and headaches than anything. For a long time, I wanted to point fingers, hey, well, my dad didn't mention this and he should have told me this, and my mom didn't spend time with this and she should have told, no, we need to point fingers at ourselves, because some of the choices we make, we're the ones who bring that on. I need to project that pain everywhere, not everywhere else, but inward. Okay, now don't get me wrong. Some things were never mine to carry. Some situations were out of my control and should never have happened. For those, we all have our own version of that. And healing for those require a different kind of grace. Those require a little bit more time, healing, different way. We need to ask for help when you come to that crossroads where you've done everything on your part to look inward and you find it a little bit too painful, then we need to ask for help. And there's no shame in that. And part of it is forgiveness. Yeah, a lot of people's like, I can't believe you're asking me to do that. Well, you know what? I was there too. I can't believe that either. But I had to look really hard, and it was the most hardest thing for me is to learn how to forgive. It's not because I was trying to make an excuse for them or people or what happened. I'm not giving it a pass. I'm not saying it doesn't say to give them a pass or excuse what they did, but it was to help me set me free. Because when you come from a place of unforgiveness and you don't forgive, you stay locked in that emotional prison of resentment and mental torment. If you're always in a state of constant anger, bitterness, and just, something somebody says or somebody does just instantly triggers you, that means you're still harboring some type of unforgiveness. Like I said, you're not excusing it, you're not giving it a pass, but you're setting yourself free, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to grow in that space, and you cannot fulfill your purpose when you're stuck in that loop of torment, of reenacting the emotional pain. So, but when we heal through forgiveness, like true deep soul level forgiveness, Those memories may surface still, but they won't have that same control over you anymore. That pain, it loses its power. And when it comes up again, you will absolutely feel nothing. You will feel absolutely nothing. You'll be like observing it from somebody looking from the outside in. And that's the weirdest thing. You know it was you. You see it as you. You know that was you. But you could look at it and then feel absolutely nothing, like you're watching a show. It's the weirdest thing. That's how you know you healed. When you absolutely cannot feel a thing about that situation that had you in an emotional distraught, the one that you just have to go somewhere to like numb yourself, the pain that you have to like work 100 hours so you don't have to bring that up, or do things so you don't have to deal with it. That's the kind of pain I'm talking about. Now there's some things you could do, like journaling. If you're not comfortable talking to somebody, then journaling, writing it down, and I like to say like putting it down on paper, then later on just chunking it in a effing bucket and burning it. That's an option too. But if it's a really hard situation where that does not work, then there's no shame in asking for help. Counseling and going to a psychologist, there's no shame. I know there's like stigma out there, people shaming people doing that. No, it's not a shame. It's caring for yourself, loving yourself, respecting yourself enough to know that you need help. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. And matter of fact, when you help yourself, you can turn around and help somebody else out. You'll be able to recognize that in somebody else. So I included a free download prayer, forgiveness prayer. So if you're not good about putting words together and how to ask for help by praying, I'll link up there's going to be a link where you could do a download this prayer. And I'm starting spiritual consultations. They're similar to reading, so if you're interested, go on to my shop or my link that I have in the description. With that, I leave you and I wish you a wonderful day. We'll talk later.